Hi and welcome to another video from AI Sciences. In this video, I will be explaining you about the tuples. So what tuples are, that tuples are just to store information. So instead of declaring multiple variables and storing information inside them, Python provides us with the tuples in which we can cumulatively, combinedly store multiple informations. So if we go over here, so what's actually the syntax of writing a tuple is that you just simply put these round brackets, and whatever you will put inside these round brackets separated by commas will be considered as a tuple by Python. So now I have created a tuple of all these strings: the first element, the second element, the third element, the fourth, and the fifth. Now if I give it a go, it just print out the complete tuple. And just to make sure, we can simply go for putting the type here, and it will get the tuple. So this fruits variable is now of a tuple type. Next is that how we can actually index in the tuples. And before going further, I just want to add here that between the list and the tuples in Python, there is just a slight difference, right? So the working phenomena is almost same and the basic structure is almost same, but the only difference is that the list, in list you can change the stuff, and in tuples you cannot change it. So we will see that in the later, but just to give you the overview, I just wanted to clear that before going further discussing the tuples, because some of the times the students or the newcomers to the Python really stumbles upon that what's the really difference between Python's tuple and Python list. So just to give you the brief idea, that the only difference between Python and the list is that you can manipulate, you can change the values in Python list, but you cannot change the values in Python tuples, and we will see that later. So now let's just start working on it. Over here you can do indexing in tuples. So if I may create a tuple over here with all these elements, so this is the zeroth element, this is the first element, this is the second, this is the fourth, and this is the fifth. So if I may go for fruits of 0, it will provide me apple. And if I may go for fruits of 4, it will provide me 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, orange. Now if I go for fruits of 5, hit enter, it will raise an exception because tuple index out of range. So you cannot provide the index which is beyond the tuple limitation. So here we have only 5 elements ranging from 0 to 4, and we cannot go for the 6th element on index 5. Now if we go further, the tuples actually allows you to do reverse indexing as well. So if we go for 1, we get this. If we go for 0, we get this. Then if we go for -1, it will take us back and print this orange, and -2 will print this mango. So if we just give it a go over here, it will print us the orange, and this will print us the mango. Next is that how we can slice in tuple. So what slicing is, that you have a chunk of data, you have actually combination of data, and you can pick a particular range, you can pick a particular slice out of that data, is termed as slicing in the relevant data structure. So right now we are discussing tuples, so it would be slicing in tuples. So here if we declare this tuple which is of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 12. Now notice this thing. So format of slicing is you mention the tuple, then you provide the starting index from where you want to take the slice, then you have to specify the ending index, so up till where you want to take the slice, and this is actually exclusive. And last one is the hops. So if we just try to print this 0 to 3, so notice we get 0, we get 1, we get 2, right? And 3 is exclusive, so it just takes us from 0 to 2. Next, if we go for 1 to 4, and the ending index would be exclusive, so it will take us from 1 to 3. So it will print us first index, second index, and then the third index. So we get 2, 3, and 4. Next are the hops. So what hops is that hops allows you to take slice from the relevant data structure by taking hops, by taking jumps of data. So if I may just go for adding a simple block over here, and let's say if I just print the t, and I can ask it to print the t from 0 to 10, it will print the complete it will print the tuples from 1 to 10, and then if I may go for 1, it will provide me the same data. Notice. But if I may now go for 2, what will happen? It will start taking the data from this tuple in the hopes of 2. So it will provide me 1, then instead of 2, 3, then instead of 4, 5, and it will go on and on. So here we are getting 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Then if we again go for the hops of 3, hit it, enter, it provides 1, 4, 7, 10. So 1 hop of 3, 1, 2, and then it provides us this thing. Then over here, hop of 3, then this thing, then hop of 3, and then 10. And as there is no further element over here, so it just simply printed the last available element, which is 10. So 1, 4, 7, 10. Next, this is the actually most important stuff while working with the tuples, or the stuff that usually newcomers or the beginners confuses with, that the tuples are immutable. You cannot change their value. If I have a list here, I can do whatever I want with it. I can delete its element, update its element, overwrite its element. I can do whatever. But as far as tuples are concerned, you cannot change its value. So if I may give it a go over here, and then I try to update its value from the 0th index, notice it raises the exception that tuples object does not support item assignment. So the concept of tuples is that after declaring the tuple, you cannot change anything of it. You cannot update its value, you cannot add new values, you cannot not even delete anything. So this is the working of tuples, and usually you use tuples where you actually want to hard and fast provide the data that cannot be manipulated throughout the code. You put that data inside the tuples. Next is tuples are heterogeneous, that it's not mandatory that all the elements inside the tuples must be string, must be integer. It could be a combination of any. So here I am creating a tuple. Notice the round brackets. There are numbers, there are alphabets, and there are floating numbers. So if we give it a go, it just created the tuple with all the elements. Next is that tuples allow duplicates. So we have apple over here and we have apple over here. We have 22 4 times. So this is also a feature of tuple that they allows you to create duplicates. So if we give it a go, we will get all the elements. It doesn't raise any error or any exception that duplicate elements, and everything is working fine. Next is that check element in tuples. Now there is a scenario. Let's say you want to check that if a particular element is present inside the tuple or not. The one way is you can iterate on it and do if else and all that stuff, but the Python provides you with a very strong tool which is known as in. So here we are using this tuple t, and then what we are checking if apple, if this particular string in t. So it will check that apple is present over here, so it will print the yes because apple is present inside this tuple. Next, if we go for printing if 22 in t, so here we can see that 22 is present inside this tuple, so it will again print us yes. Over here, orange. So here you can notice that orange is not available inside this tuple. So if we give it a go, we won't get anything. Next is methods of tuple. So as opposed to list where there is a very mighty actually list of functions and all that stuff where you with which you can play around with list and manipulate it, do all that stuff. As I mentioned earlier that you cannot manipulate tuples, so tuples only provides with these two default functions. So first one is count. The count actually allows you to get the count of the element inside the tuple. So if I refer to this tuple again and I ask the t, this refer to this tuple, and then I ask get the count of 22. So here we can see that 22 is present 4 times, it will print 4. Then if we ask the count of banana in the tuple, it will provide us 1 because banana is only present at 1 time. And now if we enter an element which is not there, 321, which is not inside the tuple, it will simply provide 0, that this element is 0 times available inside this tuple. Next is the indexing. So indexing actually allows you to get the index of a provided element. So if we give it a go, and over here we are referring to this tuple, and then I want to get the index of number 22. So it will provide me the first occurrence of this number. So the first occurrence of this number is on index 1. So it will provide us 1. For the apple, it will provide us 0 because apple is present on the 0th for the first time. And if I enter a number which is not there inside the tuple, it will raise an exception that tuple.index x not in tuple. So to use the index, you must be sure that that element is present inside the tuple. So you can use a combination of this checking and this indexing, that if the element is present, then I want to go for checking it. So just to avoid that, what we can do if 12 in t, then I want to check it. It works perfectly fine now. Now the last thing is that if I want to iterate on a tuple, how we can do that? Let me just declare this tuple. Now what you can do, you can simply use a for loop stating for I in this tuple and then printing printing I. What it will do, it will print elements of t for each iteration and it will print it over here. So if we give it a go, we get all the elements available inside the tuple. So for each iteration, this I is getting a single element from the t and then it is printing it. So this is pretty much it from our side. And if you are still confused at anything, if you still have questions, you are not getting anything, please let us know in the comment section and we will try to get back to you as soon as possible. And also please subscribe to our channel AI Sciences and do hit the bell icon so you get the notifications of our new videos. So see you in the next video.